So the next speaker is Dr. Penggao Li. Dr. Li has been engaged in the teaching and research in the field of nutrition science and food safety for more than 2 decades and has carried out many experimental and clinical studies on the health benefits of a diversity of foods and food components, with a particular interest in the sweet potatoes and its components. His research focuses on the relationship between gut microbiome and diseases such as ulcerative colitis, infantile gastrointestinal disorder, sarcopenia, and colorectal cancer, as well as the dietary factors that can modulate the gut microbiome, such as prebiotics, human milk, oligosaccharides, and the sweet potato extracts. So today's title of Dr. Li's presentation is Nutritional Value and Industrial Uses of Sweet Potato Protein. Thank you, Dr. Li.
Hello, everybody. I'm Penggao Li from the Department of Nutrition and Food Hygiene, Capital Medical University in Beijing, China. The title of my presentation today is Nutritional Value and Industrial Uses of Sweet Potato Protein, a good material for baby foods. As we know, China is the world's largest sweet potato producer, accounting for approximately 2/3 of the world's total production. As to the chemical composition of sweet potato, starch is its major component, accounting for about 1/5 to 1/4 of its wet weight, but its protein content is not very high. Depending on the varieties, it varies from less 1% to about 3% of the wet weight. So, if it is consumed as a vegetable, it is usually not deemed as an important source of dietary proteins. However, in China, sweet potato is not only a vegetable, but also an important raw material for the extraction of starch. Approximately half of the harvested sweet potato are processed into starch, usually by small-scale plants in rural areas in the past, but some of them have become very large in recent years. As a result, a huge amount of wastewater composed mainly of the proteins are discharged by these plants and has become a huge pollution problem to the environment. Therefore, it has become an imperative task for the industry to effectively handle the pollution problem, especially for large factories that have become more and more widespread in recent years. Moreover, in recent years, more and more stringent environmental laws and regulations have been imposed on these plants. If they cannot meet the standard for sewage discharge, they will be penalized or even closed by the government. And the consequence, many small-scale starch plants have to stop business. Considering that protein in wastewater are the main cause of pollution, they should be recovered and reused to make more valuable products. Unfortunately, to date, people still do not know how to make the largest use of the recycled proteins. Several companies are selling them as raw materials for animal feed, but it is not profitable and thus unsustainable. It is obvious that unless a product with a high added value can be made from the recycled proteins, this problem cannot be solved. So, how can we solve this problem? I propose that we use sweet potato protein as an ingredient for baby foods. If we look at the essential amino acid composition of sweet potato protein, we will find that it is relatively close to the designed amino acid pattern of infants, though its lysine, leucine, and sulfur amino acids need to be supplemented, but its valine, tryptophan, threonine, and aromatic amino acids can meet babies' needs almost perfectly. Of course, besides the limiting amino acids, trypsin inhibitory activity is another problem for the sweet potato protein. It may severely undermine its digestibility, so it must be inactivated before consumption. Fortunately, this is not a big problem for the industry because heat coagulation is the most widely used method to recover proteins from wastewater, and heat sterilization is also widely used for food products. These heat processing manipulations will inactivate the enzyme activities and facilitate the digestion of protein, and will not increase the cost for the manufacturers. So in conclusion, it is a good choice to use sweet potato protein as the ingredient for infant foods. That's all. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Li. That was a great overview of the amino acid composition of sweet potato protein and its particular relevance for infants.